The New York Times is reporting that President Trump ordered his chief of staff to give his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner a top-secret security clearance last year, despite concerns voiced by intelligence officials and the top White House lawyer. David Swerdlick, I want to play for our viewers what Jared Kushner's lawyer, Abby Lowell, told me about this last year, what Ivanka Trump said just the other day. Listen to this. Who made the decision to restore his security clearance? How did that happen?
The intelligence community and the FBI. It happened in the normal course. It happened the way it happens for thousands of people. It goes to initially the Bureau, who does a background investigation. It takes a lot of time. It then gets traced through various agencies. It gets to the White House. There's a special office that does security measures. They're all career people. There was nobody in the political process that had anything to do with it. There was nobody who pressured it. It was just done the normal, regular way.
There are a lot of people that question whether you were given special treatment by the president, overriding other officials. Can you speak to that?
There were anonymous leaks about there being issues, but the president had no involvement pertaining to my clearance or my husband's clearance. Zero.
What were the problems early on?
There weren't any.
So no special treatment?
No.
All right, what do you think?
So, Wolf, I hope that Mr. Lowell comes back and talks to you. He was very categorical talking to you last May that it was just the regular intelligence process. But the New York Times reporting says they talked to 4 people, that this was also last May, according to the report, that the president ordered the White House chief of staff to grant the top security clearance to Jared Kushner, that he wrote his own memo separately noting this, and that the White House counsel also wrote a separate memo to file about this. So I would like to hear now exactly what the
Abby Lowell is welcome to come back here in the situation
but I'll tell you, his spokesman today just released a statement, obviously in response to this New York Times story, and it's very carefully written. It said that in 2018, White House and security clearance officials affirmed that Mr. Kushner's security clearance was handled in the regular process. In other words, that's what we were told. That was conveyed to the media at the time, the statement says, and news stories, if accurate, do not change what was affirmed at the time. In other words, this is what we were told, and that's what we told you. And if that's not true, it's not our fault.
You worked at the CIA and the FBI. I assume you had top secret security clearance. What do you think about this story?
I still do. But in August of this year, because of what I said on CNN, the
August of last year.
Of last year, the president threatened my clearance. Not because I did anything inappropriate, not because I took money from the wrong people, but because of what I said on CNN. One question, let's go. Why was it that senior officials in the White House seemed to think that Mr. Kushner shouldn't have a clearance? Is it because he talked to the wrong people, or is it because he took money from the wrong people and didn't declare it? It's not just the question of the process, it's the question of why. I was attacked by the president because of what I said. Mr. Kushner, I suspect, had a security clearance that was suspect because of what he did. Why? What is it? That's what I want to know.
As far as you know, do you still have security clearances?
No, not as far as I know. I do. The president threatened me. Too much of a coward to act. If you want to take away my security clearance, Mr. President, let's go. It's because of what I said, which is First Amendment. It's not because of what Jared Kushner did. Where's his money from, and why didn't he talk about who he spoke to in the past? That's what I was.
He didn't only threaten you. James Clapper.
Yeah,
he threatened John Brennan, the former CIA director. He threatened a bunch of people to remove their security
because of what we said.
clearances.
We were told since the 18th century we could say what we want. And this president says, not true. Let's go.
Well, Jared Kushner had problems because, as we all know, and I've reported this at CNN, he submitted his security clearance 4 times. And originally, his attorney said that it was a premature draft that was mistakenly submitted. But then it was resubmitted and resubmitted and resubmitted. And clearly, there were questions about his family business ties to foreign investors, and also the fact that, remember, Kushner was the one who said, I'm going to be the back channel to foreign governments during the transition. And maybe if some of those conversations had not been reported. So clearly, red flags were raised, and they were right to be raised because the form, his original form, had nothing on it about his conversations with foreign officials or his family's dealings with foreign investors.
Legally, the president, Laura, could classify or declassify whatever he wants.
Yeah. He absolutely can. That is his prerogative to do so. And unfortunately, nepotism, I think, also factored into this, regardless of what she's actually said in an interview or not with Ivanka Trump. The real issue here is was not done in the normal course. It wasn't like thousands of people had been the son-in-law of the President of the United States or been told that they may be compromised as potentially easily manipulated by other people. Here we have Jared Kushner.